Since the S22 Ultra release, I've seen some interesting articles talking about issues with the charging speeds of the S22 Ultra. So today, I'm going to put the S22 through its paces and see how the charge speeds compare across a range of phones. We've got the S22 Ultra with a 5000 milliamp hour battery and 45 watt charging with the charger. We've got the Pixel 6 Pro with a 5003 milliamp battery and 23 watt charging. We've got the iPhone 13 Pro, also with a 23 watt, but a much smaller 3095 milliamp hour battery. And for something totally different to compare to, Poco M4 Pro with 33 watt charging and a 5000 milliamp hour battery. Now, before we get started, I want to know from you, what order do you think these phones will come in? Because I'll be honest, it was definitely not what I expected when I first set out on this video. So let me know in the comments down below. Comment which order you think they come in, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and let's get straight onto the tests. These phones were all completely dead to the point where you can't switch them on due to the battery being completely empty. So I plugged in the cable and I used the official chargers for each of them to make sure we're getting the best speed and compatibility. Then as soon as I could, I then booted the phones up to replicate a more real world charging that most people normally do when charging your own phone with the phone actually switched on. Now, admittedly, you wouldn't leave the screen on too, but I had these set to relatively low levels so we can keep an eye on the battery levels too. So you can expect maybe a slight improvement from charging with the screen off. And I'll also throw some links down below for my favorite fast chargers for those of you interested in grabbing a charger for your phone. Now, of course, the exception here is the iPhone because we are still on Lightning. Thank you, Apple. But all of the other phones here are all USB-C. And I just use one Anker 735 Nano fast charger, which has a couple of USB-Cs and one USB-A port to charge everything that I carry around with me. So I'll also link down to that one down below as well. Hashtag not sponsored. As we get going, first you can see that the Galaxy S22 Ultra gets to around about 30%. As we get going, first you can see that the Galaxy S22 Ultra gets to around about 30% in the same time that the iPhone does. Though the Poco phone is actually a bit further ahead. The Pixel is much less than that, so let's see which way this is going to go.
A few moments later.
At 25 minutes in, Poco hits 50% first, the S22 Ultra is at 48%, iPhone's 46%, and still the Pixel is lagging way behind at just 28%. 49 minutes in now, and we're around 85% and neck with the Poco and S22 Ultra, but now the iPhone has slowed down as it starts tapering off. Now that's around 76%, and Pixel again way behind at 52%. And then we hit 100% around 69 minutes in for the Poco. Then a minute later, the S22 Ultra. Then almost 2 hours in, at 117 minutes, the iPhone finally gets there. And then 2 hours and 2 minutes later, so 122 minutes, the Pixel finishes. So we see that the flagship S22 with the official 45 watt charger charged as quick as the very budget, Poco M4 Pro, which was just released only a few days ago with only 33 watts of charging. And I really wasn't expecting the Poco would actually come first, considering it's a slower charger than the S22 Ultra and like a tenth of the price. I think the major surprise here was that both the iPhone and the Pixel take almost double the length of time to charge up. It's a crazy difference, and considering the Pixel is the same battery size as the two other phones here and a faster charger than the iPhone. And then we have the iPhone. Good old faithful iPhone with the smallest battery that's about 20% smaller than all the others here, and so in relative comparison, the slowest charging of them all. Now, with that said, there are already phones out today and just announced that have much faster charging speeds than any of what we've tested today. But if charging speeds are important to you, then 2 of these phones are great. But one thing I will say is that before doing this test, I had to run all of these phones down to 0, of course, and the iPhone took the most amount of effort to reduce its battery to 0. I was streaming video, playing games at the same time. I even had the torch on max brightness and the screen on max brightness, and I really struggled. Whereas with the S22 Ultra, I actually accidentally, out of habit, charged it to full when I went to bed last night. So the following morning, this morning, I had a full charge and I tried the same tactics: gaming, streaming, torch on, screen max brightness, and I managed to get it down to 0 again around about 5 hours later. It was a bit of a fun morning for me. So if you really wanted to, you can definitely use all of the battery in an S22 in a very short space of time if you wanted to put it through its paces. So if you want the fastest phone to charge out of the current range of flagships we have here today, the iPhone 13 Pro, the S22 Ultra, the Pixel 6 Pro, then actually you should buy the Poco M4 Pro instead, because it technically beats all of them in this test. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel for my full iPhone user switches to the S22 Ultra review, which comes out next week, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye-bye.